What's going on, boys? It's your boy Vision. I'm back again, and today we are talking about do's and don'ts in the car community. Let's take a ride. So, do's and don'ts in the car community that I've learned right out the gates is, well, let's not talk car community. Let's talk cruise, because the car community is so vast, and a lot of different meets have a lot of different, I guess, points, let's say. Like, certain meets are like shows almost. Like, there's a lot of people there. There's bigger gatherings. There's a lot of people that are, you know, wiping down whips and shit like that. That's like a meet/show. Now, if you're going on cruises and like slight like takeover type meets and shit like that, boy, that's a whole different ball game. And that crowd of people is also very different as well. So going to like Cars and Coffees, those kind of meets, those are the kind of meets where you meet a lot of people who you can talk about builds and shit like that with, and you see nicer cars, because those are the kind of people who put a little bit more work into their cars. The takeover crowds are usually the people who have a car that could be C, B ranked, but they don't have like real nice miles on their bitch, and they're really just trying to drift it or put stickers on it or some nasty shit like that. So there's like those like takeover kind of people. And the do's and don'ts that I realized in the car community is you can't expect everybody else to think that what you think is fly is going to be universal for everybody else. So my car, for instance, is a very niche type of vehicle. It's a Mini Cooper. The wrap is very niche. The modifications are not very niche when it comes down to like engine, because I feel like everybody wants to hear engine noise. I feel like everybody wants to hear that turbo spool off. Everybody wants to hear that exhaust pop off. So I don't think that in itself makes it very niche. But my lessons that I learned in the car community with my own vehicle was that I thought that my specific build would hold rank, or not hold clout, but you know what I mean? Like, you expect more attention from your build because you see all the money going. So that's another thing that you should never do. Another thing you should never do is when you join a car crew or you join one of these large groups or gatherings, you gotta realize that shit is just like in SpongeBob. Refer back to the Jelly Spotters episode. When SpongeBob did everything right and everything that he could, but that dude Kevin was just the leader. Like, there's no way that SpongeBob was gonna take those fucking, I don't know if those was nematodes or whatever, but those skinny fish motherfuckers away from Kevin, because he had built that group. Like, that was his group. SpongeBob was just operating in it, and it didn't matter how good he was, it just wasn't his group. So that's how it is in the car scene. Like, bro, like, it doesn't matter. You could do everything right. You could look better than everybody in the fucking crew, physically, mentally, car-wise. You could have a girl. It doesn't really matter, bro. If you're not supposed to thrive in that group of people, you're not just gonna thrive in that group of people. Another don't that you shouldn't do in the car community. I think this video is just gonna be don'ts that you should not do in the car community. Is you should never touch anybody's shit. You should never touch anybody's whip. You should never lean on it. You should never touch it for texture. Everybody loves carbon fiber. Don't touch people's carbon fiber to see if it's real. You should never sit there and criticize somebody's whip unless you're asked by that specific person. They're there, and you gotta whip your own, first of all. Because if you ain't whipping shit up there, boy, don't talk about I don't really like Mini Coopers. If you ain't got a whip, boy, I don't really give a fuck about what you like or what you don't like. For the kids at home, this is a Al Capone. This is not what you think. But that being said, those are just some of the things that you should not do in the car community. the list could go on forever if we're even talking about things that you do to the car or things that comes down to filming. So we can get into that at a later date. But right now, those are some things you shouldn't do. I'll be back at you boys again with the next one to tell you things that you should do to keep you on the right path in the car community and on your car journey. So fuck with your boy. I'll see you next video. Peace.